Hello and welcome to the Gothic Unicorn. Today we're going to be working on something for the big house, so 1/12 scale. Yay, you might say. Obviously I'm doing what takes my fancy at the moment, but I am thinking that there's some things that I really should be working on for that property. And this is the first one that I'm going to do. Now, the last room that I have been working on was the dining room, and I'd completed the basic decor, I'd completed the furniture, and I left it at that. I've dressed the room up a bit for a couple of occasions, but I'd mostly left it because I wasn't 100% sure where I wanted to go with the actual decor of it. When I did my Christmas haul video, I showed you how I was decorating the plates and the bowls and things, and I got to thinking that I should really do something with those before I lose them. So today we are going to be dressing the dresser, the hutch, or china cabinet if you prefer, or as it's also known, this piece of furniture. Now I've actually had to modify this so I can work on it on camera. It is fitted with a mirrored back normally, and what I've done, this is the mirror, it's upside down. I don't really want to blind you with it reflecting my lights and everything. What I've done is I've took the back off, took the mirror out temporarily, and so we've got this really interesting back at the moment, which is just stuck in place with a little bit of tape. I'll take the tape off once it's all filled and put the mirror back in, put that back on, and hopefully then it won't be quite so reflective when it comes to photographs, because it's been a pain. I've had the inside of these filled with paper towel to try and allow me to take some photos, and I don't want to be going on like that. So we're actually going to focus on the upper part of the cabinet today. I have got this lovely space down here that is crying out to have something in it, and I don't know what I should put there. If you've got any ideas, please drop me a message in the comments below and give me some suggestions. It's actually really pretty big. I've got a lid here that's off one of my toothpick containers, and that fits in there, and that is a reasonable size. We are talking of, that is a good inch across, and it's not big enough, so it needs to be something fairly substantial. So yeah, that aside, I'm going to be looking at this and at pulling this piece together. The first thing I'm going to be looking at is yet again the plates. Now these are the ones that I did for my last video, round about the point of my last video, and that one's got a little bit of dirt on it. We'll just try and clean it up a bit. They're great. They're just cheap plastic bowls, plates. Well, more like a platter than an actual plate, isn't it? But they're great because, being white, they show up that bat motif really, really well. Now the bat motif is nail art, and I've actually got them on here in a couple of different sizes because they came, the set included a couple of different sizes, and I think these pieces are going to look brilliant on here, and they're going to be the main feature. Now I have got my regular plates, which I'm going to have to add some That's 2. That's the first thing I'm going to do. So I'm going to open everything off camera because it's going to make a lot of noise, and then I'll show you how simple it is to use these. So the set of tableware that I bought, I've got 4 place settings, and I've got a larger plate, a smaller plate, or possibly soup plate, which is like a shallow bowl, and then some actual bowls. Now, I've got 2 of each out there, and the rest I've piled up simply because I'm not going to have room to put all of them out. I did a bit of playing about and sort of came up with a vague plan of how I was going to arrange everything based upon the 6 bigger pieces that I'd done. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to put some bats on these and try and get half the set displayed, and then the others will go away for another project. What I would say they'd probably be in real life is they'd be stacked in these cupboards at the bottom, which do open, but I don't see any need. That one, the door actually came off while I was trying to get the back off yesterday, so I don't really want to be opening and closing that all the time. But you know, that's where they'd be stored, isn't it? And have a few on display, as I say. So we're going to start off with these, and I'm going to start off with the big pieces because they're still incredibly small, and we'll take it from there. Now this is a set of the nail art stickers that I bought. There are 20 on there, so it should be that if you were doing your nails you'd get 2 goes at it if you're putting them on every nail, but I don't suppose that anybody would. I think the general thing is you just put it on a couple of your nails, don't you? And they are actually stickers. They are not, yeah, I think what it is, they're not water transfers like you sometimes get. I don't get on very well with the water transfers, so I bought some that were actually stickers, and I actually bought 2 sets, which is why this set is complete. But it does show you that they come in different sizes. And then these are what I've got. Now what you have to do is you have to select the one you want. I'm going for one of the middle-sized ones. And then you need to trim it down. So I'm just going to do this with my little embroidery size scissors. And I'm going to cut it down into a shape that is almost teardrop shape. I think that sort of works. You can be more exact if you want, but you don't need to be. And then what you need to do is you need to separate the 2 layers. And there are 2 layers. There is the shiny front layer, and then there is your backing layer. And this is the bit that I'm absolutely dreading the idea of doing on camera, because either it'll come up really, really easily or it won't. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the camera, peel the back up a bit, and then we'll finish it off. What did I say? I said it would either be really easy or not. And I've done it really easy using my craft knife. And I'm just going to peel the craft knife off the sticker, and I'm going to take my plate, and in the middle I'm going to stick the sticker, and it is as simple as that. Now you could cover them with a coat of clear varnish, which is what you'd do if it was your nails you were doing. Put a coat of put a coat of clear varnish, nail varnish or craft varnish, just to protect it. Because these are going to go in the cabinet, I don't think I need to do that. Now I'm going to repeat that on the other plate, and then I'm going to look at what I'm going to do with the small plates and the bowls. I'm thinking that those ones are probably a bit on the big side for that. I will check it when I cut one off for that one. And the bowls, I don't know. Do I put one in the bottom? Do I try? They're going to be way too big to go on the sides. So I may just put the bowls away if I can't get them to fit inside. But again, I will be back very shortly to show you what I decide. I went with putting the bats inside the bowls, so now I need to make sure that I display the bowls so you can see the bats. And I'm ready to start putting these into place. Now this is going to be awkward to do on camera, so I'm going to see how we go. Now, and the door won't even stay open, so I'm doing well here. Right, I'm going to put that on its back and right in front, right under the camera. I think I'm not going to be able to do both sides at once. I'll have to do it like that. Now, did I decide? Basically, I'm going to put a few pieces in to start off with. In the middle one, which is obviously the bigger section, I'm going to put these in to start with. And I'm going to add some extra bits. Now, I suppose I need to talk about how I'm going to fasten these in, because I don't think it's going to be really easy to actually stick these in on camera. I'm going to use good old tacky wax. Now this is a love it or hate it. I've never had a problem with it. I used it in my doll's house for many years. I've took it off stuff, and yes, it needs a little bit of a wipe on some materials, but it's never ruined anything. Sometimes you can get museum wax, archive wax. It's the same kind of thing, and it is literally, it's wax. Now that is hard in there. I will have to prise some out, and I will have to soften it between my fingers. It keeps stuff in place. And this is what I'm going to use to actually stick things to the shelves. I'm sticking them to the shelves, not to the back, because obviously this isn't the back. I've got to put the mirror back in. I also want to add a few more bits. This piece I want to put down at the bottom, and I want, see, this is why I can't do it like this. I'm going to put this down at the bottom in that section. Maybe actually put it forward a little bit, as forward as I can, before it would topple over on that there. And I think I'm going to do a little bit of a floral arrangement, and then I'm going to do a couple of other things to go in and around, and I've pulled out a couple of other things to go in and around, so that it actually looks quite full, because I think that would be the way it would be in real life. So I think I'm going to have to pop this up on its end and come back to you when I've stuck some of these in place, and once I've warmed the museum wax up, and hopefully I won't get it stuck under my fingernails, because I've done that before and it takes forever to get it out. I am sort of done with most of it. Now I've stuck in place all of my plates. I'm just going to open these back up because they won't stand up when it's lying on its back. And you can see I've put the plates and the bowls onto there. Now I have added a few extra bits up on this top section. This is a plastic glass effect bowl. I've got another one here. Move that out of the way, and hopefully you can see that. Sort of looks like a nice little glass bowl. I just thought it added an extra dimension. And then I've put some of my homemade glasses on there. There's actually, at the back, I've got a to mess with this a little bit. I've got an ordinary sort of glass that I made out of a clear straw, but That's not really visible. I don't know if it'll be any more visible once I replace the mirror, but I know it's there. And I've also got a couple of my little champagne coupes that I made using some blister packaging. Just a little bit to add those little extra details. Now obviously I'm going to shut those because that's better. I do like how that is coming together. Now pop that back down there. I've got this to finish. I'm going to give this a little flower arrangement, and then that can go at the bottom. And what I've actually done is I've actually taken apart a piece that I saved when I took my flower shop apart. I did show my flower shop in a previous video, and if I remember I will link it. But what I had in there is I had a lot of faux metal buckets which I put various kinds of flowers in. This is just one that's got some roses in, and I've got a load of these little white daisy type flowers. I'm not sure what they were from. It was some artificial flower that I picked up for not very much money, and I stuck them onto wires, put a little leaf on them, and gave them a very rough yellow centre. And what I'm going to do is I've got a piece of sponge. Now when I did the little metal buckets, I put some sponge in them and stuck the wires into the sponge. Now I'm dropping things again. Move that out of the way so I don't damage it. I've cut this sponge down so it will fit into here. I'm going to stick that in the bottom with a little bit of the tacky wax, and I'm going to cut the flowers down and stick the flowers into the sponge, so it'll just look like a floral display. I will show you that at the end though. I'm not going to do that on camera because the way I'm going at the moment, I'm going to end up cutting myself. The other thing I want to do is I want to add a couple of candlesticks. I love adding candlesticks, and I have shown previously how I make candles. And one of the easiest ways is using toothpicks, cocktail sticks in this country. Now I've got two here because they are actually slightly different sizes. They do come in different sizes, even in the same packets. These came out of the same packet, but you can cut them, you can use them as appropriate. Now the other thing I'm going to use is I'm going to go for a really simple candle holder, candlestick, and I'm using these beads. Now these are described on the back as a brass tube spacer. Now I've got a load of these because a local store, well, it's a branch of a chain here in the UK, were getting rid of their jewellery section a few years ago now, and they were selling these off for pennies. And of course, when I realised that they were going through at such low prices, I bought lots of them in different shapes and such like. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to prize a couple out of here without losing all of them. And they are little metal tubes, as you can see. And they are actually a good size hold through them. But don't they look like a little candle holder? What I'm thinking is I'll put one down, because if I get one of these, I can have a candle, a taper candle, coming out of the top. Now, this is where you have to make a decision. You have to decide how big a candle you want. Now, if you want your candle to look unburnt, all you need to do is cut it down, stick some glue in there. What I'd recommend is actually putting it onto a non-stick surface. I just use one of my handy dandy plastic lids. Put a lot of glue on the end that you want to go in, stick it in all the way down and leave it. Paint it first, obviously, because then you haven't got clean paint off your candlestick. I have got a video where I show you how I make the candles, cut them down and make them look like they're burnt down a bit, put drips and things on. I think I'm going to go for a unburnt look on this. So I'm probably actually going to pretty much leave these cocktail sticks, toothpicks, as they are with the taper at the end and just paint them. Now, you can go for whatever colour you want. You know, you could paint them, you could have black candles or whatever. I'm probably going to go with sand, which is one of my favourite colours for doing a candle. It's sort of a neutral colour. If I open it, you can see it's, yeah, creamy, off-white, just enough of detail. Now, cutting these is really easy. You just need a craft knife. You get to the length that you want and put your craft knife onto the toothpick and roll. Now, I don't know if you can see, oh well, you can see, you get a line through there and you can just break it. And I can put that into there. Once it's painted and glued, I'm going to have a perfect little candlestick. Now I've got to check that I've got that height suitable for where I want it. I'll just do that now. Yeah, that's going to go nicely up there, which is where I want it, as I say. I'm going to cut the other one down, put a bit of paint on them, and then we can make a set of candlesticks. I have my little candlesticks here, and they are just so simple. Now, as I say, I went for this sort of neutral colour. It almost blends into my hands. I went for this because at our local Living History Museum, they make candles, and the candles they make aren't white. They are this sort of natural colour. And that's a look I like. You could go for any colour though, but obviously I just went for that because I just want something that doesn't stick out too much. The other thing I have completed is my little floral display. Now I have literally just tacky waxed the piece of sponge into the bottom, and then I've just stuck the wires into the sponge, put them down, and I think that's going to work. Bearing in mind this is going to be in the back of the room, so you're not going to see it that clearly. I just want it to sort of look filled. So these now need to be stuck into place, which I'm going to go and do, and then we can see the finished product. But while I've actually been doing this video, I had a delivery of some crystals that I bought the other day. And one of the pieces was actually this little skull. And if I pull this in and I'll pop that into there, I'll have to use my hand behind it. I'm wondering whether I should make a pedestal of some description to put the skull well and truly in the centre of there. What do you think? Give me your comments. It certainly could work. It could have worked actually. If I pop it up there where the flowers are going to go, it could have worked there. It's a really good scale for this. Not a particularly life-sized skull, but it's a crystal. We wouldn't want it to be life-size. So that's a thought. I will be looking for other possibilities for that space, but it's a thought. I've put those pieces onto the cabinet, and I just want to mention one thing. The bowls that I've used have all got a little bit of a foot, so they've got this nice shaping on the bottom. This is another piece out of the set, and what I have found is to actually get these to stick nicely, I've had to put it at the back on that foot, the tacky wax I mean. Just push that down and then that will hold them in place. It's just one of those things, and it is something to take into account when you go to stick your pieces down, is to actually check the underneath and see, because it's no good putting it on the middle if it's going to rise it up. The other thing is, these pieces had got quite a bit of these little bits of sprue, I think they call it. It's where it was attached to whatever it was made on. What I've done with those on the ones that I've put on my cabinet is I've took off any large bits with a craft knife, and then I filed them with a nail file or some fine grain sandpaper, just to tidy it up, because it is a bit unsightly. But that said, it's time for the big reveal, and here we have it. I'll turn it over so that you can see it. Oh, and I've got a plate that's moved. I will put that back in when I put the mirror on the back. I really like how this is developing. It has got the sort of spooky but not OTT spooky look that I wanted, and one of my candlesticks has just moved. I will deal with that with a pair of tweezers in a moment. I just think it works, so I think that the bats on the white work. They give me that look that I want, and yeah, the easiest candles I've ever made. Although, as I say, I've done part burnt candles before. It's not difficult. I've got videos out there, and I don't doubt I'll be doing some more, but it just works like this in this situation. So there it is. It's ready to go back into the doll's house. Well, it's ready to have its mirror back and then go back into the doll's house. If you've enjoyed this video, and hopefully you have, please like, comment and subscribe. It all helps my channel and encourages me to keep making more videos. And consider ringing that notification bell so that YouTube should let you know when I put another one out. And until next time, bye.